station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Grizz Biz, my 2 cents.
Wednesday, we back at it. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a little special shout out and prayer to my wife who's undergoing some things right now. I'm going to get all into in public, but we're saying the prayer for her and everything is looking all right. So let's give that a round of applause to my wife. She's a strong individual doing her thing. So it's Wednesday. We're back at it. We got a real hot topic today, sovereignty, or however I say it. But it's been a topic that's been going around and information that needs to be done and said. So before we get started, we're going to go ahead and shout out our sponsors, the people that support us. Let's go ahead with Goodies Barbecue, 1440 Hamilton Avenue. Get your barbecue on. He's got lunch specials and he's got daily specials. He's got rib tips, turkey tips, anything barbecue you can think of, he has it. And as always, as usual, if you say my 2 cents, you get a 10% discount on any purchase. And I think he's also doing the my 2 cents. If you buy over $20, $30, he'll take $10 off the your purchase of the meal. So go on down to Goodies Barbecue on Hampton Avenue and get you some barbecue. Let's give Goodies Barbecue a round of applause. Next up, we got Strawman Home Solutions Electrical Company. They do all your electrical needs, whether it be putting in outlet for a vehicle, electric vehicle, changing light bulbs, fuse boxes, whatever you need done electrical, these gentlemen can get the job done. So go get your estimate at Jarman Home Solutions LLC.com or call 513-266-8290. And you too can receive a discount on the service that you pick by saying my 2 cents, and that's 10% off. So let's give Jarman Home Solutions a round of applause. Next up, we got Dank Nation, www.danknation.co, and that's the company I'm a part of. So right now, go get your apparel. Go to the website, pick out your apparel. We got some hot designs, and make sure you go vote November for recreational. That's what's up. Let's give Dank Nation a round of applause. Next up, we got G14 Classified, one of the hottest equipment out for hair replacement or man weave. I call man weave. He's got hair follicles. He's got airbrushes. He's got all types of doodads and gadgets for your hair because men wear man weaves too. So if you're looking for any product to take care of your man weave, go to polishbarbershop.com and make sure you get you some G14 Classified. Let's give it a round of applause. Next up, we got Bagman. We already talked about legalizing and making recreational. Well, you want your presentation to be just as good as what just chiefing on. So go on down to Bagman on Hopper and Coleraine and get you some Molar bags. They open from 11 to 7, Monday through Friday. Appointments only on Sundays. And if you can't make it down there, you can go online to bagman.com, www.bagman.com, and order you some bags. Let's give Bagman a round of applause. That's what's up. So, we got, like I said, we got a special guest today. We got Bobby coming, and right now, let's give a round of applause. Let me introduce my co-host first, Miss Nadia Corleone, always in the corner. We got Miss Jones coming in, and she gets situated. So we like to give them a round of applause and shout out to the girls who ain't there, Nicola and Tyann. They out getting that money, so let's give them a round of applause. They'll be back soon enough. And then I like to introduce, with no further ado, I like to introduce Miss Lisa Schaffer. Now, if you don't know, the topic for today is sovereignty. And she is what we call somebody who specialized that with her group, the Ohio Assembly. So it's been a hot topic, and we're just going to jump right into it. How you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing great. How are you, Grizz?
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Like I said, this is a topic that we really needed some clarification on. We have folks on here that's done part of the process and continue to do the process. And we just wanted to see somebody who's been through the steps. And that's what Bobby's been through the steps too. So why don't you give people a background
Sure.
of yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I've got a, I've been retired for about a year. And I'm at that age. I've attained an age of retirement. Let's put it that way. And so one of the things I wanted to do in retirement is to really concentrate on helping other people begin to claim their sovereignty. I was elected by the Ohio Assembly in March of this year as their speaker and chairman. It's quite an honor to achieve that.
What is the Ohio Assembly? What is it? I mean to cut you off. I'll be doing that a lot.
Okay. So the Ohio Assembly, and this is going to be, for some people, there actually should be two forms of government. We talk about we the people, but we the people have not had an active government since before the Civil War. Okay, they did away with the de jure or the government of the people over the Civil War, and disbanded our civil courts and put in administrative, military, carpetbagger courts, and then they never reconstructed the actual people side, the we the people side of our government. So to be the Ohio Assembly, to begin with, we have to have a federation of states. And there's a whole hierarchy that goes with this. So the Ohio Assembly is actually a government. It's not just a group. It's not just, it is a political body. Okay? But we don't have Republicans or Democrats or libertarians or communists or socialists. We don't have those. We are a cooperative community of people. We are neighbors. We are brothers and sisters, and we come from many neighborhoods and all walks of life within the Assembly. And so the Ohio Assembly is right now, we have 62 counties on Ohio out of the 88 counties. At 88 counties, once we populate all 88 counties, we the people can actually insist on what the state of state, which is a corporate government, what they do and how they operate, and hold them in their box. Because originally the states of states, which were called the Confederation of States originally, does that sound familiar from an old history lesson somewhere in your life? The Confederation of States, the states of states were named, but that was when they were not incorporated. This was before incorporation. After the Civil War, they incorporated. They all became corporate entities or businesses. Okay, so our government is actually service corporations. Even the federal government is a service corporation. It has a Dun & Bradstreet number. It's listed as a service corporation. And it was meant to only have a limited amount of distributed influence. And so it is not supposed to have been overflowed the way it has. Down to the very definition that federal actually means contracted. So when you talk about federal government, you're talking about a contracted service corporation taking care of certain services. And if you've never read our original Constitution, the original Constitution, those services are named in there. And most of the time it only has to do with defending our borders, providing a navy, helping us with the import and export of goods, and that's it. post roads,
Wow.
post offices, and the regulation of interstate commerce on alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Mm.
Firearms meaning anything over a 3-inch barrel.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there is a great deal of things that we've not been taught or told. They've been hidden from us over the many years. And so we have to go back and begin to look at and understand what all of those things are that have been hidden from us. And understand that the language, they use legalese. That is
Yes.
plain English. It doesn't mean the same things we think it means. So this is going to be a mind-blowing hour because so much that has been hidden from us, and there is so much that we have never learned that was just kind of left out of our educations, left out of the history books. But when you go back and you read the treaties, the acts of Congress, the actual Federal Register, which is where the acts of Congress, the laws get recorded and published. When you go back and read those, all of a sudden you realize how much we haven't been told.
Wow. That
Wow.
is.
So there's
That's a
an
lot.
opening
Hey,
for you.
Andrew, that's Bobby. I don't know what's wrong with her camera. He's working on it. There go Bobby right there.
Hey, how you doing?
So,
Miss
hi, how are
Shonda
you?
done joined us.
Excuse
Bobby, Miss Jones, this is Lisa. And Lisa, this is Bobby, who also went through the process. So he'll be joining in and tapping in and adding what he's done accomplished and so forth. So, yeah, so that's what he was saying earlier. There's a lot of things that we don't know and a lot of things that are hidden. So does the Ohio Assembly find those things?
Yes, us and the rest of, we have all 50 states. There is an operating de jure government on all 50 states, which makes us eligible to claim the federation and open our original actual government. There's a lot of assemblies, things that call themselves assemblies out there. We have a right to assemble. But some of those are still district assemblies, meaning District of Columbia. And a lot of them still have some ties. So some of the sovereign, what they claim is sovereign status correction, still has some elements of U.S. citizenship in it, and you're not completely free. So our process within the Ohio Assembly and within the Federation of States makes you a completely free man or woman. And we actually make notice.
That shows no color, right?
Shows no color, none whatsoever.
Yeah, because that was tripping off of that when we made the post, and the guy was talking something about that you didn't know this and race, this, that, and the third, and I thought to myself like it really shouldn't matter as far as
It don't have
color.
nothing to do with it.
We are all God's creation, and He
Right.
granted all of us with
Sovereignty.
unalienable rights, every single one of us. And, my standard statement is the only way the federal government has ever been able to win and obfuscate everything that they have kept from us over the last 100 and almost 70 years is to divide and divide and divide. They continually place white against black against Hispanic, Catholic against Lutheran, Baptist against Catholic, and they just keep the pot stirred so that none of us join together. But where our strength is finding our strengths together and coming together as one people.
Bobby broke it down earlier this morning. I would like him to repeat what he said about breaking it down as far as God and there's nobody above God. That we all, that's what we answer to. Can you explain it again, Bobby, what you were saying earlier?
Okay, so how I was explaining this is how I was able to explain it to a lot of the people that I talked to. And so I said, you have it's a hierarchy, and at the top of the hierarchy, God or natural law.
Right.
So then that's at the top. Then God created man,
Mhm.
creates government.
Right.
Based it off of just those three. So man tell God what to do. No, that's the question. Can man tell God what to do? And most people say, no, man can't tell God what to do because the created cannot tell the creator what to do.
Right.
Now, the same question would be asked when I ask people, well, can government tell man what to do? They say, a lot of people say, yeah. I say, well,
Mhm. We make the laws.
you know, the thing is, that you can't tell the creator what to do. They take on the other role, which is the role that government created, which is the citizen. When you take on a role and they say are you a U.S. citizen, and you say, yeah, now you become as the man that's above government. Now you what the government created, and so you recognize this, then you're under their jurisdiction and you got to follow what they say. But
Right.
as the only one that stands above man is God, and as long as you are abiding by natural laws and respecting everybody, we can self-govern ourselves.
Mhm.
And things where trying to break the law or get out of paying taxes or anything like that. But every time you turn around, they got new rules and new codes that they're creating and they're putting on people. And it's all about control. It's about people breathing in a state where we know who we are as men and women and recognize our power that we have. They have us in a state where, we believe that they have all the power. In actuality, we are the people. We the people hold the power. And
Mhm.
Right.
as I continue and explaining this stuff, and it's like I've been every day I read. I constantly read. I just was reading the Business Act. I was reading the Federal Reserve Act, the Stamp Duties Act. All of this stuff, and I'm like, why didn't they teach us this in school? And the more and more I read, the more I realize why they didn't teach us this.
Mhm. Miss Lisa was just, I'm sorry, Lisa was just saying something about that earlier and how a lot of things have been hidden from us. But if one of you can just describe what's sovereignty so that the world can understand what it actually is and why this is so important.
May I?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there are several maxims of law, and the maxims are the things that control all law, even natural public law. The first maxim of law explains it all because it says, he who creates owns. He who creates owns. God created us, he owns us. We created the government, we own it. We are the employers. That's the maxim of law. Okay? So, in that, because we were created free beings, and we were all born American state nationals, every one of us. But we were created into U.S. citizens when our mothers, without disclosure, without knowledge, registered us to be a U.S. citizen. Now, one of the things that we talked about just before was that the word that they have legalese, that they use legalese. And so the things that we think mean something don't actually mean that. And the word citizen means, anybody know? Anybody want to guess?
No.
We've been fed a really great line.
Yeah. You want me to take a stab at it?
Sure, you take a stab at it.
Take a stab.
Okay, I'll stab at it. Well, a citizen, I believe, is a slave.
A citizen is someone who works for the government. That's its legal definition.
Yeah. And that's definitely one that I mean, you can look at it a lot of different ways, but I don't know. I don't work for the government. That was something that blew my mind. I said, any citizen of any city that's saying you work for that city or you're a slave to that city. And I'm knowing, as far as with sovereign, sovereign is free.
Yes.
Right.
Free as sovereign, then sovereign citizen doesn't even make sense. That's an
It's an
oxymoron.
oxymoron. Mhm. Yes,
Mm.
exactly. So, Grizz, I've got some questions for you. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do you live within the 10 square miles of Washington, D.C.?
Do I live 10 square miles where?
Within the 10 square miles of Washington, D.C.?
No.
Do you live in the American Samoas or Guam or American Virgin Islands?
No.
Do you work for the federal government?
No.
Do you currently serve in the military?
No.
Do you hold a political office?
No.
No.
Have you been granted political asylum?
No.
So, are you a welfare recipient?
No.
Okay. So, you're probably not a U.S. citizen then. If you can say no to all those questions, those are all questions that regard someone as either indentured or a part of the United States. The United States. So let me go back and explain that there are three types of citizenship.
Mhm.
There's U.S. citizen, there is a U.S. national, and there is an American state national. A U.S. citizen has to either work or live within the 10 square miles of Washington, D.C., and they have to work for a branch of the federal government in some way, or a municipal government, because they're franchisees of federal government. They're also incorporated. And if you serve in the military, you have basically signed yourself over, registered yourself over as a slave of the United States government. If you are in political office, you're considered a federal or municipal employee, even at the county levels, city levels, state levels. Okay. If you were born on the American Samoa or live on American Samoa, Guam, or the American Virgin Islands, you are considered a national of the United States. Okay. And if you are a welfare recipient, which is why it is so important that we begin to try to get our generations off any kind of federal assistance, because it is a contract with them that enslaves them forever. Okay. And so it's highly important to try to get to the point where we are all self-sufficient, right, and not receiving any kind of assistance whatsoever, so that we have no contract with them, because it makes us a U.S. citizen as well and beholding to them as a slave, indentured. So the 14th Amendment had nothing to do with freeing slavery from the Civil War. It actually made all of us slaves. It opened the door for all of us to become slaves by making us U.S. citizens. Okay.
Wow.
So do you see how that all ties together?
Yes, it's mind blowing.
The 13th
Okay.
So what? Go ahead, Bobby.
made everybody slaves.
That's right.
Right.
14th Amendment.
14th.
So what made you, both of y'all, we weren't gonna jump in. What made you just say, let me figure this out and go for it? What made you just say, hey, let me jump into this?
I know what made me jump into it, because I always felt like it was more to it. I never bought into what's going on. It just didn't make sense. You work hard your whole life, and then you retire later, and then you get to retire. You get to have them few years to enjoy all of the fruits of your labor. But I see people around me that's enjoying it right now. So the system never made sense to me. The harder you work, the reward for hard work was more work. So another way. I said, if everybody is doing it this way, then there's got to be another way. So just the way that I'm programmed, I guess the way my brain works, I always felt like that a lot of the stuff that they was teaching and training us to do, I felt like that it wasn't right. And so when I came across the video that was on it was on one of those channels that they don't want you to look at, Disclosure Hub, and I was binge watching Disclosure Hub, like Mind Blown, Meet Your Strawman, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And the movies that I was watching from the past that always resonated with me, The Matrix, what is it? The one where Shawshank Redemption, The Wizard of Oz. It's certain movies
Right.
that they had messages in these movies, and if you only looked at the movie and got the entertainment out of it, then you missed the message. It felt like always something that was being told to us. And once I actually started reading and seeing, like, hold on, I know that didn't nobody, as I cross-reference, I know that they're not hacking the internet and stuff in there. So it was like backed up by the things that I was reading. And when I went to go get my birth certificate, my certificate of live birth, to get it when I was going through the authentication process, the lady who was down there, she kind of gave me a little boost that I was on the right track. Because I said,
That's what's up.
I need
That's what's up.
a real birth certificate. I said the one
Right.
and she said authentication. And I was like,
Right. So don't go, hold on. Don't go deep into that right now.
oh, okay, my
Miss
bad.
Lisa, what made you want to join in?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I've always seen breadcrumbs. I've always been a little bit of a rebel. I've never exactly taken no for an answer. I'm an apple that didn't even roll from the tree, because my dad left me also a lot of breadcrumbs. And the further I get into this, the more I realize what he was trying to tell me. And he had put it all together. But unfortunately, my dad passed away 4 years ago. And if he was here today at 97 years old, he'd be standing right next to me. I know he would.
Wow. That's what I'll probably be proud of you too. Did he do this? Yes. Round of applause for both of y'all. Yes. So he'd probably be real proud of you right now. So my next question, we only got an hour, so I want to get as much in as we can as possible. So first off, describe what the straw man is, so people will actually know what in the hell is going on. Because when you say straw man and bond and this and that, I'm in the hospital, I'm talking to my family about the moves we're making. They heard me talking to Bobby earlier, and they was like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Some of that. So even the people around me in the hospital, they didn't tuned in and started listening, like, what is this guy talking about? So the first process, I guess, is understanding what a straw man is. What your straw man is. So break that down for us.
So I began a little bit ago with, we were all born American state nationals until we were registered by our mothers, which if you go back and look at some of the older birth certificates, they say informant on them for your mother. And she didn't know. She signed you over to be a U.S. citizen. And that right there is where the creation of an all capitals name, because if you look at your birth certificate, that registered birth certificate, it has your all capitals name on it. It is because when they weigh you, and anybody that's ever had babies, taken babies home, that baby was born 8 pounds. When you take it home, it's only 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Well, why was that? What happened to that? The baby's not, it's been eating, it's everything. And they're like, oh no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, it's because that 8 pounds also includes all of the afterbirth. And it's the entire total of the birthing process, the weight of the birthing process, okay? And they weigh that because that's where you are worth your weight in gold. Heard that saying? That's where the saying comes from, is you're worth your weight in gold, because they weigh that out, and the initial gold bond that is taken out by the Vatican,
Yes,
based on your birth weight, and then traded on the open market on the open bond market. And that's where your straw man is developed. It's actually the gold bond, the QSIP number on the back of your birth certificate. And
Wow.
and it's traded on certain back channel markets.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
used.
Wow.
And so it is you being your name being capitalized that creates the straw man, meaning you're monetized.
So how do you write your name? You write your name with first letter capital, lowercase the rest.
Correct.
That's the one that's you, that's created in God's image. Now,
That's the living man or woman.
Yep. And you look at now, if you look at your bills, you look at your driver's license, you look at anything that
Bank
comes,
statement, credit card, utility bill.
and that's that. You go look at any court cases. It might say the state of Ohio versus, and then it has your name in all caps. But if you look at the rest of the words, it's not in all capital letters.
That is crazy because I have been in trouble. Just give me a round of applause before I run in trouble. I've been in trouble. So, yes. So, on the papers that you're talking about, you goddamn right. They say the state of Ohio versus Paul Reese Jr. in all caps.
Do you know why?
It's not you.
Do you know
That's
why?
not me. No.
It is because corporations can only do business with corporations.
Yeah.
So they make you a corporation, they make you a corporate entity with that all straw man, all capital name is a corporate entity that they're trading on the open market. And anytime you go into court, they're actually hitting that bond for more money than what you pay in fines.
Better know it.
And the prosecutor gets a piece, the judge gets a piece,
your attorney,
the court reporter gets a piece.
Do they know this? Do the judges and lawyers,
Yes,
do they know about the straw man?
Yes, they do.
And
And
all
most
this
of the
stuff?
time, and most of the time, they're not reporting it to the IRS. And my suggestion would be anybody that walks into court, take a 1099-C with you and make sure that you have the judge fill them out.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna hate you. That's why so much flack with this.
In layman's terms, for the people to understand what y'all are actually saying to them, can somebody tell them what will happen and what it actually means to be sovereign?
Sure. So being sovereign means that we claim all of our natural rights. We stand only in public law and only with the Declaration of Independence. And a lot of people are confused about the Constitution. They say, I have constitutional rights. No, you have rights from God. Okay. What they talk about in the Bill of Rights, because the Constitution, there are two other words for it. It's called a contract or a conduct. And the Constitution is about, and the Bill of Rights is how they are supposed to conduct themselves with us. That's our contract between us and the contracted government. And that's how they're supposed to be treating us in those Bill of Rights. We already have rights. Okay. The violation of those rights is a trespass on those particular call-outs in the Constitution. So we don't want to say you walk into court and you claim your Constitution. Well, you just claim to be a U.S. citizen.
Right.
You just claimed part and party to the Constitution itself, the contract. What you go in and you go in as persona propria, which is in my natural appropriate person, and you're claiming your natural rights. And your unalienable rights that are given to you under the Declaration of Independence. Okay. So before we go too far, though, I need to say, and here's where it starts to get deeper, it is about jurisdiction. So everybody understands jurisdiction in the way that, like, somebody from Cincinnati, a police officer from Cincinnati, can't go to Hamilton and arrest somebody. Why? It's jurisdiction. The word jurisdiction means boundaries. Okay. So there are 3 jurisdictions in law, and they form the word law. Okay. The L stands for land, jurisdiction. That's where people live. The A forms the air jurisdiction. Air jurisdiction is where the Vatican, the Pope, canon law, ecclesiastical law, trust law, all trusts are governed there. Okay, that forms all of that section of law. And the W stands for water, meaning it's maritime law or corporate law, because all corporate and maritime law originated with pirate law, the law of the seas. Okay, so to understand how we're working within, we stay as American state nationals. We are tied to the land, the physical land, and we stay in our jurisdiction on the land, the land of the living. Okay, and where they want to try to keep joindering us into and holding us as surety for those corporations that they've created. They belong to them, not to us. Okay, so that straw man, that initial bond, that belongs to them. Everything they've made on it after that belongs to us.
Wow.
Okay.
So
let
me ask this. What is say, okay, we as a collective here want to get started on it. What's the first steps we need to do?
So, you're obviously going to need a birth certificate. What I would need is just a copy of your birth certificate, because that birth certificate belongs to you. You don't give that to anyone. You don't let them take possession of a birth certificate, originals. Okay, never, ever, ever.
It would be the certificate of live birth.
It doesn't have to be a certificate of live birth. It can, in some cases, some people can't get a certificate of live birth. A simple birth certificate, so that it shows your birth name. We're going off of your lawful and legal name from your birth.
Okay, that's where I'm stuck at as of right now, because I'm in Georgia, so I had to get mine from Ohio. They sent me the birth certificate, but they said I can't go to the state level because of that, and I would have to get the long form.
Sorry. It depends on whose status correction you're doing. If you're doing the Georgia Assembly, your birth certificate is all you need. If you're not doing the Georgia Assembly, then you may be doing a district assembly. You have to be very careful. It's very difficult.
Oh, wow.
So what I would encourage you to do, okay. So what I would encourage you to do is go to this website. It's called, it's T as in Ted, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, American State Nationals with an S, .org.
Okay.
And you're going to want to, there's a ton of information there about correcting your status. Okay. But you're going to want to go to the 50 states tab and choose your state. And
I was born in Cincinnati, but I'm living in Georgia.
Okay, you have to go with the state that you are actually living on. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because to be a state national, you have to be living on land.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So you're going to go to Georgia, the Georgia State Assembly, or Georgia, and then choose contact the coordinator. Every state has a contact coordinator button. Okay. And that will you fill it out, and that will send an inquiry in, and they will they will get you placed with either an orientation committee, an outreach committee, or a recording secretary. Here on Ohio, you go to the coordinator, and the coordinator assigns you a recording secretary who pilots you through the whole process.
Oh, wow.
We take you through step by step. And every assembly is on Ohio. I can only tell you what Ohio's cost is. Yes. basic three phases of paperwork is $50.
Oh, okay.
And the second, the big set of paperwork that finishes, that really kind of allows you access and ability to join the assembly in all of its functions, including its jural assembly, meaning its court system, so that you have the ability to help, write justice on your state. That phase, that fourth phase here on Ohio, is $55. So you're looking at a total. Now that doesn't include the mailings and things that go. So you have to leave a little bit in there for priority mailing and things to make sure your paperwork gets to where it goes. And registered mail that you communicate with the federal government as well as the IRS and the IRO, because we don't necessarily pay taxes. Okay, once you're sovereign.
That's deep.
It's huge, and we help educate you. We give you the paperwork. We help walk you through that, and are there to answer your questions and provide the education for you.
I have a lot of people when I talk to them about that, because I do have this book. It's called the Meet Your Strawman book, and I started reading about it and started telling people and getting more information about it. But the one concern that they have is, oh, it's illegal. You're going to get in trouble. Can you please tell them that this is not going to get you in trouble?
Okay, so the very definition of legal is to take something that is lawful, unlawful, and make it legal.
Okay.
So a crime on our land jurisdiction can be made legal in the commercial jurisdiction. All right. So I've been a state national for 3.5 years.
Wow.
As soon as I filed my paperwork, then I also filed with the company that I was with at that time and had them cease my taxes because I had revocated my right to taxes. And I actually have the page out of the Federal Register from 1981 that says all taxes are voluntary.
Yes.
Man, you cannot tell nobody that your taxes are voluntary. They are going to have a fit.
So, but the important part of this is that you have to, as a U.S. citizen, you're required to pay taxes.
Right.
As an American state national, you are not, because my nation state, and this is why it's great to be in the American state nationals, in the assemblies, not just join it to get your sovereignty, but to actually be a member of the assembly, is that you have the support and you have the surroundings of your fellow state nationals to help you and to defend you when you need it to be defended. Okay.
So that comes with being in the Ohio Assembly. So if you run into problems, that's where they come in and direct you. Because
we try to assist you.
They try to assist you. So actually, Bobby was saying, and there is some things, because he was like, he's not speaking on a lot of stuff, and like you said when we first got started, that they shadow banned me on the announcement of you being on the show talking about this. So there's got to be some type of repercussions or something about it. It's got to be something.
Well, my dad was Army Air Corps because he was in World War II. And he always said, you're right over the target when you take flak. And that's exactly what we do by shadow banning. We're taking flak. They do not want this information out. It's getting out anyhow. And it's everywhere. And so
with it to see what it does.
Go ahead, Bob. What'd you say?
Have you ever been in court with it to see have them the treatment that
I got you, Sean, Ms. Jones. Go ahead. Wait a minute.
Like, have you ever been exposed to how the treatment in court and how they treat the people that come in there? And they try to label me as a sovereign citizen, and I had to correct them. I said, no, I'm sovereign. And
Right.
so I went to court actually for my daughter that was in a fight at school. It was like a juvenile court. And so here it is. She was the one that was in trouble or got into the trouble, but they summons me or they summons my all caps
Do you
name.
know why?
Yeah, because she's
Right.
charges can't be put on her because she's still a minor. So they were going to put the
Because
charge on my estate and charge.
technically, being a ward of the state, they can't touch her trust. They can only touch your trust.
Exactly.
As a U.S. citizen, and especially in the state of Ohio, with the state or state of Ohio, that ward of the state, their trust can't be touched. Only the all caps name of the mother or father, because technically under common law, they are your property.
Mhm.
That's why I had to address.
Until they are 18, they are your property.
That's
Wow.
what I addressed my offspring when I was in court because I went into it with the understanding of them looking. I didn't want to college. I had to address the way he addressed while I was in their jurisdiction. But I never, not one time, said I can make special. I never answered to the all caps. I spelled my name out specifically, first letter capital, and I went in there with the regular, with my Christian, my Christian name. And so what ended up happening is the lady made it more about me than my daughter that was actually in the fight.
Mhm.
And tried to establish her jurisdiction over me so bad
That's
to the
what
point
they do.
she ended up talking herself, and I stayed in honor. I never raised my voice. I never argued. I never did anything. But the lady, she got so she went into dishonor to the point to where they ended up removing her from being a part of the juvenile court system here in Cincinnati. And
Wow.
they ended up telling me about it. Like, well, I don't know what happened with you and her, but just know that she's no longer part of the courts because
Wow.
change
Let's
of
give that a round of applause.
Right.
Let's give that a round of applause. Ms. Jones, you got a question?
Is my mic on?
Yes.
You
have
guys
a question?
Well, I
Yeah.
absolutely have a question. And welcome to the platform, Bobby and Lisa. And I'm sorry because I can't really hear you guys. I heard bits and pieces, but I gotta play contrarian here for a second, Lisa, if you don't mind. And I heard a little bit of this answer already, but I just want to elaborate a little bit more. People want to change their status. Okay, great. Taxes will become a benefit or voluntary, right? If you pay them. What are the other benefits? Why? Just why is this so important, right? And again, I got to play the contrarian because that's just how you get more information sometimes. So please.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think, there are obviously, the taxes is one part of it. However, being able to wake up and know you're not enslaved every day, that you owe nothing to anyone, is probably the greatest benefit of all, because you can finally achieve what your God-given purpose was. And setting up your de jure government means that you're not going to suffer under tyranny anymore. Helping set up the Ohio Assembly and acting that government. If you went and looked up the original Ohio Constitution that was written in 1803 and adopted in 1802 and adopted in 1803, it describes exactly the Ohio Assembly. It was an assembly. And we lost that freedom. We lost that representation because you keep hearing them call it a democracy. Corporations are democracies. Okay? And those codes, rules, regulations, and statutes that they put out there, they're for their citizens. What are citizens? Employees. Therefore, it makes those employee handbook.
Right.
We live by law, by natural law, and by the Declaration of Independence. We have the ability to base all law on whether or not there's harm or no harm. You're driving down the street, you might be driving too fast, but if you didn't crash into anyone or anything, you've caused no harm. There is no crime. There really is no rule about that. There is no law about that. Present a law.
So are you suggesting that once you change your status, you can speed if you don't have an accident?
No, I'm not advocating that at all, because we also have to go by prudent man standards. You know, and it would not be prudent for you to speed, because you could harm yourself, your property, or someone else's property.
Right.
You know.
What I was taught and what I learned was, I mean, this is this. So all of these codes and statutes that they keep coming up with, those, like what she said, those are for the citizen. But as long as you're free, the only one that stands over you is God. And so you're governed by natural law. As long as you don't hurt or kill or hurt nobody, that's one. You're good. As long as you don't. So the second one is then, as long as you're not stealing or damaging anybody's property. That's two. And then as long as you're being honorable in your business and conducting yourself honorably, and you're not out here swindling people, you know, then that's three. Now, so those are the only codes that those are the only laws that I would abide by.
Think of the 5 last commandments.
Right.
These commandments are our law.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I think what she's really trying to figure out or want to say is the tangible benefits. It said taxes. You don't have to pay taxes.
Everything. So if you read the Bill of Exchange Act, okay, that's telling you what you're supposed to do with your bills. Okay. Now you have okay, before we even go into that, you're going to exist in the public or the private.
Right.
Bottom line, this is just what you're going to do. So there's 2 different worlds that's existing at the same time. Now, what we know about is the public, but what you want to do is learn about that private, because that's where you want to be. That's where your rights are. When you go into these courts and you're trying to claim constitutional rights or you're claiming certain stuff, you're in the wrong courts. You know, you got to know the way that the government is broke down. The government is broke down into 3 branches of government. You got Article 1, the legislative branch of government. You got Article 2, the executive branch, and then you got Article 3, the judicial. Now, from what I was taught, courts are in the judicial branch. Okay, so that's Article 3. Okay, Article 3 courts. Now, when we go to the courts that we go to, and they're talking about the state of Ohio versus and certain versus you and all of this stuff, you got to know that you're not dealing with judicial courts. You got to know that you're dealing with Article 1 courts. Okay, these Article 1 courts are acting under the color of law, which is not the real law. Okay, or these are the corporation, the laws or the rules for your company's handbook. If you was a part of a company, the United States is a corporation. So if you're not working for the United States, or if you're not an employee of the United States, why do you got to go by those?
Right.
Okay. So a lot of the times people are losing their freedom and they losing a lot of years of their life. And they haven't hurt anybody. There's no victims. You know, a lot of these victimless crimes. And there's a lot of people that once they learn who they are, they can get themselves out of that situation. When they say pick yourself up by your bootstraps, I actually learned how to do that. If you look at the boot being the monopoly piece on the board, then you can pick that piece up out of the public and put that into the private. You take that and you take that from the power from the government, and you take that and you hold that power for yourself. Now you can move in the public and the private whenever you want to.
Okay, let me stop you. Right, I understand what you're saying, but as far as the benefits, because we're looking at people who have been conditioned and this way of life that we know it, and I think what Ms. Jones basically is like I said, let's get into the taxes, the bill part, the debt part, explain that part and the benefits of doing this so she can
you almost
understand
don't have enough time.
we don't
I
have enough time.
was going to say, as we close, could you wrap it up? And I totally understand what you're saying, but playing a contrarian, is beneficial to both of you if you guys want to educate us, those that are listening with a ear to learn. Okay, what is the difference between a sovereign person and unsovereign? Because I guess you guys are Christians. It sounds like it. I don't know. I only picked up a little bit. Sounds like you guys are people of faith. If that's the case, why are you so consumed with, whether it be private or whether it be public? You're still consumed with this world.
Because the government has no part in my private life. It should never have any commercial dealings with me. I have no commercial dealings with it. And separating yourself from the commercial side and placing yourself in the public side allows you to attain that God-given ability to govern yourself. It is about self-governance. Now, that doesn't mean that you can ride herd over anybody else, or you can trample on someone else. And self-governing means that we're helping each other, and we are brothers and sisters. On the Ohio Assembly, there's four sections of government.
Move your feet.
One is the General Assembly. It has committees of the General Assembly. The second one is our General Assembly, which we believe that we will have our General Assembly.
Can you move your right foot? Can you wiggle your toes over here?
Article 3 court systems up in November. Okay. 3, militia. And everybody thinks of militia as gun-toting. That's not true. It can be true, but it's not true. Militia means people. It's a Greek word for people. And what militia means is that we're neighbors, helping each other in times of crisis.
I couldn't tell if you was recording.
Need, all of those things. And then the fourth is our International Business Assembly pillar. And that is to enact trade between the states as well as other countries. And so that's what a fully functional state assembly should look like. And that means that we're guarding your freedom.
Oh, sorry.
It means that you are not going to experience tyranny because you are directly involved in the say-so of your government. Right now, you have no say-so. They've stolen your vote. They've selected your candidates for you. They know when they vote who they're going to put in office, and you're not going to change that. So if
My last question. It's almost 8. Do you two vote? Do you guys vote?
I do not vote on the corporate elections because I have no piece in that corporate election. It'd be like me voting for Pepsi and not owning Pepsi stock, right? So all of my voting is done within the Ohio Assembly.
I used to vote. I don't vote anymore because I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen.
Hey, you know what? And for me, I don't vote no way. I did, but I don't vote anyway no more because I'm a man of faith, a man of God. And God says, do not put your trust in man. So it's been a proven record, even with this whole conversation, the deception of what's going on, the whole reason why Strawman, the whole reason why sovereignty exists and we need to know about it is just because of that. Voting means nothing. I put up a video today of a person in office talking about voters think that this stuff matters, but it don't. They vote don't count. And you can tell by what we're talking about right now. Like, it's all a facade. It's all a trick. And that's what the whole purpose of this being sovereign is about.
Waking up.
So when you sovereign yourself, is that taking away that political status, or do you have to get out of that as well?
That's a good question.
Well, when you're sovereign, you see, the thing is this with me, like I recognize that I did the status correction because I'm not part of the United States. The United States wasn't born in Puerto Rico, Guam, or any of the Samoan areas. I was born in Ohio, Cincinnati. Okay, so I'm not a U.S. citizen. See, I look at it like, are you a U.S. citizen or are you a USA? You get what I'm saying? Because the thing is, people don't even realize that those are two different things. You know, U.S., USA. Okay, look at that. It's stuff right in front of our face that makes it should make you wonder, like, hold on, Why don't they ask, are you a USA citizen?
Mm.
They don't ask you that, you know. And then
USA
also,
is actually a British territorial corporation.
but the thing is this. Also,
Right.
look at
Mhm.
look at this. Look at the colors of the flag, red, white, and blue. Right.
Mhm.
Then look at the colors of the flag that's in the courthouse and in the White House. And ask, everything on that flag means something. But what is that color that's on that flag? What does that mean? Because it's right in our face this whole time. It be right there, but we overlook it like, oh, that's just for decoration. Believe me, it's not. It's not. It's got.
I have some thoughts about it. So like Lisa said earlier today about how they keep us divided and stuff like that. So I use those colors as if they were pertaining to gangs, you know. So like
That's on the flag. It's look at, like, I'm gonna just tell you, it's an extra color that's on the flag, and it's not red,
right.
white. It's gold that's around it.
That gold, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So figure out what that is, and that right there is that rabbit hole, and then you're gonna keep reading, and then you're gonna be like, hold on, am I really?
I think I've been like 20 rabbit holes already.
The other thing you have to pay attention to with flag and flag protocol is the eagle on top. If his wings are out, if his wings are folded,
oh, wow,
if there's a spear on top, if there's a ball on top, those all have meanings too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and realize that the flag that we recognize as the United States of America flag is a war flag. Every country in the world has a war flag and has a peacetime flag. And the American States Assemblies all fly the peacetime flag because that's what we're about. We want peace in our generation. We want peace on our land and with our people.
Is there the Assembly's flag? Do they have the gold fringe around it?
No.
Okay, good. Because I was about to.
No, and in fact, our stripes are actually vertical, not horizontal.
Right.
And
I
we're
want to ask one question.
A field of white with blue stars, not blue stars on our.
This sounds like a course that needs to be created, Bobby and Lisa.
Right. That's why I was going to ask.
Field.
I was going to ask because Lisa, you went through the state assembly, and Bobby, you said you is sovereign yourself or state national.
I did.
Is that a difference between what both of you all did?
Yeah, I'm not a part of the assembly. I didn't go the route that I forgot your name is. And it's hard to. Miss Lisa, I didn't go the route that Miss Lisa went, but that's the thing. It's more than one way to skin a cat.
So what's the best way?
That's dependent on the individual, because from what I've learned in the short amount of time since I've been studying it, you got people that just got in and they like, well, look, I just want my bills to be paid, and you can approach it like that. You know, all the bills is prepaid, everything is prepaid. This is the stuff
I'm ready to live like the Indians. So I want to know what's the best way to do this so that you won't suffer repercussions, because I see people suffer repercussions. Not that they're in the wrong, but people don't like when they have these state nationals or sovereign people and stuff. So what would be the best way?
Nadia, that from my, and I looked at the David Strait process. I've looked at the Bobby Lawrence process, and I did the American State Assemblies process because I felt like we have to be able to direct our government. We, the people, can't do it one by one. They will pick us off one by one. It is only in joining together, assembled together, that we're going to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Okay? And by joining a state assembly, you get the education that you need. You get help with your paperwork and guiding you to make sure that you've covered all of your bases, that you are completely out of the U.S. citizen category. And third, you have then like-minded people that you can participate with and help to put your government back together the way it was meant to be put together. So for me, that was my choice.
Okay.
I don't want to be a lone wolf.
Me neither. Would say we need backup.
I just didn't. It's definitely a group of us, and and we pretty deep, but we just not part of the American, Ohio Assembly. I actually didn't. I didn't know what you guys did until now. It actually piqued my interest, but it's just one of the things that I just wasn't aware of, and that's it, and that's all. But
Yeah.
So would you get into it now, Bobby? Would you get into it now?
It's worth looking into. I'm not closed-minded. I would definitely do my due diligence before I make that decision. And I would tell anybody with any of this, do your due diligence.
It is an individual choice. It really is.
With all
so I would also tell you to go and look at our website here in Ohio. It's called myohioassembly.com. myohioassembly.com. There's a ton of information out there. There are still some things that aren't working. We're still working on the website, but you'll be able to get to most everything you need to get to. And look at that. Look at that website, because I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised at the information that's there.
Oh, wow.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I appreciate everybody coming on. It was quick and hour, but we don't want everybody to have a brain fart or overload on information. You got to get it in pieces and dibbles and dabbles. Especially with our people. Our people want to. You do it first, and then we do it. Let me see you do it. Then we do it.
Got me labeled as crazy right now, but guess what? I read. One thing that I tell people, you gotta read. You gotta, because you're gonna be tested when you in these documents, and you are standing on your 10 toes down. They're gonna try you, even when you speak. You got the law behind you. They're gonna still try you like you're not telling the truth. So it's something you gotta pray and stay strong in it. Don't get,
it's not just something he just wears to wear. So if he doesn't have a reason to wear it.
They told me in report that he's supposed to.
There is no paperwork.
Did you say my Ohio?
My Ohio Assembly.
I'll look at the notes and see what the
It's
doctor
not pulling up for me. I don't know
exactly what.
I think I'm having trouble.
Read what is that? The Bill of Exchange Act. I tell everybody, read that. It's Bill of Exchange Act, and then also the Federal Reserve Act, and read these things.
1943.
Yep, and read the Stamp Duties Act.
Do any of y'all know what this is about?
What's that?
It says the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I read it, but I'm not in overstanding of it. Have you seen it, Miss Lisa?
No, I have not.
It was $3 on Amazon, but it basically supposed to lay out the human rights, and if this is something that will be null and void when you become free. It's like something like
the term human is the color of man.
Okay.
It's not real man. It's the color of man.
Right.
So it's maritime.
You remember the Matrix? Red pill or blue pill?
Yeah, I pulled it up before, Ms. Charles. I pulled it up.
Yeah, red pill or blue pill.
If you scroll up, it might be in that link that I posted of the email in the group chat.
Oh yeah.
But
I'm out of. I'm not glitching in the matrix no more. So I'm on what y'all are on, but I just keep getting roadblocks. So this is, and I mentioned it to Grizz and everything. So we was like, we have to get something, some footnotes, some footwork, and everything, so that we can get this done. Because I'm ready to do this today. And Miss Lisa, I'm sorry. My mom just makes me do that. I'm sorry. But Lisa, it's a long process. I know with doing it by hand and doing it with our footwork, it's sort of a lengthy process. But with the Ohio Assembly, is it long?
No. It really depends on how fast you want to work. And we provide you the templates. So all you have to do is put your name and your particular information in those templates. So it's really a very quick process. So Nadia, you being on Georgia, you would have to contact the Georgia Assembly, and they will have this very same paperwork that we do. So, and they will lead you through, and all you got to do is change the template. The paperwork's all done for you. So you just put your name in where it's red, and put your county in where it's red, and put your dates in and things where you were born. Anything that needs to be changed is generally in red, and you just go through. The first phase, I've had people do the first, second, third, first, second, and fourth phase in one sitting.
Okay.
So, you know, it is entirely possible to do it in less than a week. I did mine in less than a couple of days. But, you know, it just depends on your ability for computer skills, or, you know, what your resources are. Some people want to, and I, of course, had already studied it pretty intently, so I knew what I was signing. Know what you're signing.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say,
know what you're
look
signing.
at the templates. You can look at the templates and do all of that, but the thing is, definitely do your due diligence, because at the end of the day, you can't walk around with Miss Lisa in your pocket. You can't walk around.
Right.
So you're going to be able to, it don't matter what papers you have if you don't know what it means. So time out to learn exactly. That's why it took longer for me, because as I'm reading, as I'm going through, I'm learning it, and I had two laptops open at the same time. One was actually listening to some of the lectures and learning, doing research, and the other one I was going through, because I'm one of the ones to jump in 2 feet. But I say to anybody, do your due diligence and definitely learn the history on what this is about. Because if you don't know where it come from or where it is, then you don't know what direction we're heading into. Because the thing is, they stopped doing the Pledge of Allegiance for a reason. Because they want us to believe that it was democracy, or democracy was what it was founded on, but it said it in the pledge, until the republic for which it stands. The republic is we the people. All right. So we've been brainwashed into thinking that the United States, democracy and this and that, but it's synonymous to something else, and it's not what you would think. Believe me, when democracy and these programs and Democrats, that's not what we want. Because once you realize who you are and what you really have that's attached to that name, you don't need that help. You don't need the help, the government's assistance, when you actually stand on who you are.
Right.
When you know who you are, then you would say no to them programs, because they're giving you pennies. They give you pennies compared to what your worth is really about, and that's just it.
That's
Bobby
crazy.
and Lisa, I'm glad you guys were our guests today. It was very intriguing, all the information that you gave us. I guess my last thing to say, it's not a question. You have motivated me only because I heard something about my bills being paid and I don't have to pay taxes. so I
Mrs. Jones.
Yeah, you better know it.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Well,
my goodness.
I would say that there are, and we didn't talk about some of the possible monetary or wealth implications that it has, but there are.
We need a part
Right
2.
quick. I got time. If y'all got to break off, go ahead and break off. We'll holler at you. But you can now see that just sparked my interest.
I never find that it's worth going into unless you're ready to do your sovereignty. That needs to be the driving force.
I'm ready. I'm ready, and money is not my driving force. Freedom is.
I'm already free. I need my bills paid.
Well, technically, what we're about to come to is that, because I don't know if you've been hearing the Biden speeches of him saying your children are the children of the nation. It's because that's true, because you have a birth certificate. So when everything start coming down to where they're going to start implicating all these brand new laws to where you can't, you ain't, and you won't, then you would sure want to be sovereign. You sure would want to be free.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But I'm on Ms. Jones' part too. What about the wealth part?
You know what with the bills?
Let's explain that right quick.
So you want to talk about the wealth part?
Yeah, just right quick.
So essentially, because of all of these things that have been created in your all caps name, you may not own the principal, but for the use of your name, you should have access to what they've earned.
Mm-hmm.
And so for, there's a lot of people who've tried, a process called the 1099-A. They haven't had a lot of success with it. Some have gone to jail over it because they were still U.S. citizens and they never paid their taxes on the money they received. So that's where they hooked them. I mean, it's just that it's a trap. That's a trap. I'm going to tell you.
Is that the reparations form?
No, it is not a reparations form. This is for everyone. This has been done to all of us for generations. It's generational wealth that's out there.
So have you tapped into the wealth part of it?
So
I did with something, and
I did with my QSIP number and saw that how much I had under my QSIP number.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and then y'all can take and do with it what you want, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Now, I did
All
do.
ears.
You did what?
All ears. What?
Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you that social is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to the point to where I actually took care of a truck that was like $65,000, and I got the paper to show that it paid off using my social. Now, what happened? It said congratulations and all of that. I put that in, used it, and what it showed me is this. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks later, it said, "Hey, look, it was charged back. You owe us." Now, my thing is this: how did I do that twice? And they still sent me the congratulations letters saying that my truck was paid off using my social. So there's money in it, but I need to find out who, and I'm still on my journey young into it, because it got charged back both times, but I seen something that I would have never expected. So yeah, it charged back, but I seen it went through. So whoever it was that said, "Hey, nah, we need to charge this back," I need to find out who they are, because I'm the administrator over my estate. So I need to know who feels like they're more power in a position than me to use what I'm the benefit of. I'm the benefit to this SOVEREIGNTY-They, this trust. You hear what I'm saying? So when you start learning trust law and then you start learning about these estates, it's deep. You know what I'm saying? So once you realize who you are, sometimes you might be the beneficiary, sometimes you might be the administrator, sometimes you might be but we wear many hats. And once you start moving in this, the money that's there, you gotta learn this. The money that they got us worshiping is not even real.
Right.
Okay.
That part.
If you look at the old money and look at how it's created now, like look at it and compare the two, the one that was backed by the gold, that was the gold, the ones that, and it says silver certificates, and you look at the ones today and it says Federal Reserve note, you're gonna learn some things. And so I want to start doing something where I actually have sit downs and talk to people and show them the differences, because as we put our minds together, we can solve this jigsaw puzzle together. And I see you over there. Look at you shining. She got that lawful money right there.
Yes.
What is that? What is that? Pull that back up again.
Yeah, she got.
What is that worth? What is that?
Well, that's actually it is an American Eagle dollar, but it is 1 troy ounce of silver, which I don't know what the price is today, but it's probably up in the 23s, $23 right there.
Yeah. So you got money that's like you got money that and then I'm gonna tell you something. The money that like I went to the post office and I got a money order for $1. It cost me $3 for that $1 money order, because the post office money order is backed by gold.
That's right.
Wow.
And the stamps at the post office is backed by gold. So here it is. That's backed by something that's lawful money. You get what I'm saying? So when you read that Stamp Duties Act and start you getting into it, you're gonna start learning like, hold on, we out here slaving for stuff that and once you really find out the truth is gonna make you mad. Because sure you've been paying yourself.
So
hey guys, I hate to be a bad co-host. I gotta jump off. Bobby, it was nice to meet you. Lisa, same. I sent you guys friend requests on Facebook. I have myohioassembly.com. It finally populated. I'm gonna check you guys out. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Bye, Grizz. Bye, my co-host. All right.
So the the American States Assembly, we've been working on to try to do a process and put a banking system in that is actually would give you access to your credit, that would pay your bills. It would exchange your money between all routes of exchanges. So between credit, between American Treasury dollars and between American Federation dollars, which would be backed by gold. Our system is nearly complete. In fact, I have an account number. We're just waiting for the population of those funds to come through. And those will be monthly funds that will allow you to pay your bills and take care of all of your living expenses. And so that's one of the benefits of being in the Ohio Assembly is you can get that banking account and then you get access to these funds. So, you know, that's just one of the many kinds of monetary. I told you I don't pay taxes. And I, not only that, but any of the distributions, I have submitted the paperwork to my investment company, my 401k. And when I take a distribution, I get that distribution tax free. So in my retirement, I'm doing everything tax free at this point. I file no tax returns.
Strongest thing I done heard you say on here for real, because as a life insurance broker, and that's something else too, when you start realizing the power of your social. Anything you ever gave your social security number with or to, just know that you paid for that. You just didn't know you paid for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now talking about bank accounts, FDIC, that $250,000. Believe me, they didn't give you that. That came from somewhere. That came from you. And so whenever you fill out an application, look at applications as money. Look at your
driver's license, your car insurance, your life insurance, your home insurance, anything that you've done, your medical insurance, all of that, every bit of it.
You're paying for that, even though it's not even in your bank account. You didn't even know that you was paying for it. So that social should be guarded the same way as if you wouldn't be walking around giving out your credit card number, would you?
No.
So don't be going around giving out your social, because it works in the same fashion. And it's just the certain people that know what it is, and they will take it and they will run up charges.
This is so mind blowing. I'm just feel like I'm in a never ending story right now. You know how we're going on a journey and just flying through everything, and I'm just seeing how everything just was a lie throughout my whole life. And it's just like
it is, you
it's
know,
nauseating.
and I was a principal and a teacher, but I wasn't a classroom teacher, thank goodness. But at the same time, you know, when I think back to what we delivered in curriculum and education, it makes me really sad that we were not more knowledgeable about it to deliver the full truth. And so, you know, we haven't been teaching the truth for almost 200 years.
Right.
And that's
it was intentional. The diabolical creatures that was behind this, you hear me? It was genius and criminal and evil, all of that. Like, believe me.
This whole thing has gone on since Babylonia. It's that old. The whole scheme is that old. And so, you know, you're talking pre-Christ.
Yeah.
And when you think about Christ and the money in the temple and the money changers and everything he did.
That was the message on the debt clock, what you just said.
Yes.
When it's shut down and people couldn't get on that same, what you just said was on the debt clock.
Right. Exactly. And so this has been going on, and what we're going through is biblical.
Yes, it is.
It's completely.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to tell the folks out here. Yes, it is.
When it all comes to a board, when it all comes to a head, you don't want to be still calling yourself a U.S. citizen,
right?
Because you're going to be holding the bag. They're running up.
That's what me reading the Bible and getting into it and really trying to understand it was how I got led to this.
Oh yeah, it's all intertwined. Believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one, and I'm gonna tell you, I was one that walked away from the Bible, but I didn't ever. I'm still spiritual, but I walked away from the Bible. But I was surprised at how I came back to the Bible, because the Bible is definitely the instructions
Yes.
that
Mm-hmm.
that help you on this journey. So I'm looking at it in a whole nother light now.
Yes,
And
it said it's the acronym is basic information before leaving Earth. So
yeah,
yes, I had to get back into it and started reading for myself instead of letting the pastor read it to me.
yeah.
So, and like I said, it just started informing me on a lot of things. And then a lot of people don't know that the Bible is speaking metaphorically. So some of the things that are in the Bible is actually matching up to what you're seeing on your television screen, especially when it has something to do with government.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, this deep. Oh, it gets deep. I'm talking about. I've been obsessed with this, and it's just
Yep.
the thing is, I'm a barber, and I was cutting out of my house. So I was cutting in my house, but I was looking at videos, doing my research,
Mhm.
books. I would go to the Goodwill. They had books for $1. They had them books for $2. I was getting books from everywhere.
Yes.
And half price books. I got a whole book. I got like a bookstore at my house. But the thing is,
I got a bookstore on my bed.
yeah, it'll make you want.
So I'm going to recommend 2 books to you.
Okay.
One of them is called Disclosure 101.
Mhm.
And the second book is You Know Something's Wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, those sound like those would be good.
right.
They're very short reads. They're very quick reads. They're very easy, but they contain a ton of information.
I'm gonna recommend one too.
Mhm.
Okay. Now this ain't a short read, but when I tell you, it's definitely one that you wanna check out. And it's this
Pieces
right
of 8, right? Oh, no.
All right, 100.
Oh, yeah.
What
Fahrenheit,
is it?
yeah, 180 degrees.
And it says unlearn the lies you've been taught to believe. It talks about how they hijacked our language. That how it's look how thick it is.
If y'all go on my Facebook page, honey, I'm hollering and screaming it all over the place, but I'm the nut job. So, so
And I'm gonna tell you what another one is too. And I'm gonna show you this real quick. Because
Mhm.
if you can find one of these old books right here, the original ones,
Okay.
you ever seen that?
No.
I
Behold,
can't even see him.
here, hold it real quick. Behold a pale horse.
Oh yes, I read that probably back in 2005.
I got 2 copies. I got one from 20
Mhm.
and then I have one from this today. Look at this. Wait a minute. I do my camera.
Yeah.
I can't do my camera the other way, but I was gonna show you the difference. The one from 20 years ago is way thicker than the new
Yeah.
one.
I don't mean
Yes.
to cut it.
They done took stuff out of it.
Wow. See,
I don't mean to.
I think I still have that book. I gotta go in my garage.
Yeah. So if you got the old
All
one,
right.
you got the stuff. But it's that's a powerful book that I suggest you read. That 180 degrees.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 on this, guys. I know Grizz is trying to get out of here and
Yeah.
tend to his lovely wife.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah. I will hit you back up.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you very
Look,
much.
my
I
mic-
appreciate the time. Maybe
Yes.
sometime we can come back and talk some more.
Please.
Yes. Like we
But
said,
I-
next week we got
Mhm.
You
we
all be
got
blessed.
Yes, you
Preppers
too.
on.
You too, Lisa.
So thank you, Lisa, for coming on. Bobby, thank you for coming on.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all. We're gonna do a part 2. And like we always say every Wednesday, don't be
Don't
stuck
get
on
stuck on
stupid.
stupid and relax on dumb.
Thank you. See
Good
y'all.
night.
Let's go!
The station that keeps it rocking 24/7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Grizz Biz, my 2 cents.